stones, no broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe. No one belongs to anything. I've seen the lies, I've seen the lies, I've seen the lies. Train go by, this kill or be killed.
Welcome to the Peterson Health Digital Studio at Pine Plow Brewing Company. This is the Lead Live. I'm Louis Amestoy. It is Wednesday, June 19th, Juneteenth. Today, a federal holiday, and we are here. We got lots of things to talk about this morning. Charlie McIlvain is here with a hat. I thought that I told you can wear that hat here, Charlie.
Gotta have the hat.
Gotta have the hat.
Oh, absolutely.
Gotta have the hat.
Right. You know that when there's nothing under it, you gotta have the hat.
That's true. I'm getting to that point now. Well, cowboy hats and headphones don't really work very well. I have to wear underneath.
It can be. You have to kind of put them on the back of your head.
Yeah. All right. Listen, we got a lot of great things to talk about today. As I mentioned, it's Juneteenth. We also have some news and notes to get to. Andrew Gay will not be joining us this morning. He's on vacation today, taking the day off, so we're gonna have to live without him. But we got plenty to do today. Done. Oh, there we go. All right, now we're cooking with the gas. All right, everybody. I'll tell you what. Yesterday was interesting. A couple of big things happened. First off, the new David and Amanda Williams Surgery Center opened for Peterson Health. Soft opening. Assured there was it was a soft opening. I was assured they're going to do some surgeries in there starting yesterday. I was trying to sign up first. I wanted to have the nice colonoscopy nap. I don't like colonoscopies, but man, the drugs are nice. You just go to sleep and they do their magic and they put you into recovery, give you a nice warm blanket, and then they kick you out. It's really quite delightful. And then they say, oh, you have a clean bill of health. So there you go. Yesterday, the Kerrville City Council met for about 90 minutes to discuss the budget. Charlie, you're into the budget season, right? You're over at the Chamber of Commerce. How's that going for you?
We'll be getting into it very soon.
Yeah. Is it looking positive, negative? How are you feeling about it?
I think it's looking positive. The chamber's turned around, and we're seeing a productive organization these days. Got a lot going on. Like what kind of stuff's going on? Anything that we need to worry about, or what? Well, of course, this project's one of the projects we're working on with the Upper Guadalupe River
Center. Which is why you're here today to talk about
correct.
This. And this lovely person to your left is Aaron Burrows from Comanche Trace. When you say you're from Comanche Trace, does that mean that you work at Comanche Trace, or do you like run one of the Comanche Trace little gangs that are out there?
I actually, Louis, came over with the new ownership. Comanche Trace, the entire, not only the club, but the community itself, was purchased by Legacy Golf Group. So I came over with that new group 2 years ago and serve as their membership director, kind of oversee all the sales and marketing efforts, events, and just building a really fantastic community. We took the club private, and it's been really fun for me to get involved with the Kerrville community, and then was able to
because you
get
live
involved
down in San Antonio, right?
I do,
and so you drive in. So that's admirable. When do you move here?
I'm hoping in another year or two. We have a 14-year-old at home that's starting. He's going to be a freshman next year at O'Connor. Okay. So just waiting to see how that kind of pans out. Yeah. But we do have plans to move here at some point.
Tybee or whatever those, another one of those
I keep
schools.
talking it up. Hey, we all have Tybee baseball caps. So we're
slowly getting that done.
Yep.
Well, that's good. Cause, that's kind of an underreported story that we've had is that this big changeover in Comanche Trace with the new ownership group, and they've made a lot of significant changes, I guess, already. So there's a lot of cool things going on there. A lot of people live there. We know Delane Seegerman, Kent McKinney, John Harrison, Barbara Dill Ferguson. They all live there. It's like a little
Anderson.
Who it is?
John Anderson. You better believe it.
John Anderson.
John and Maggie.
Yeah, yep. John and Maggie live there.
It's been a fun project. I've been in the club business 30 years, so got a lot of experience over the years, and this has been a really fun project.
When you say
the people are very special.
Club business, you're not like dance club here, right?
No.
We're talking. What kind of club business? Like golf clubs.
I do have some moves though.
I bet.
I've been in the private club, so I started my career with Club Corp in the city athletic clubs, and then moved over to golf and country clubs about 15 years ago.
Right.
So it's been fun. But I always say I truly believe that Kerrville and Comanche Trace are the best kept secret in Texas.
Well, if you really look at Comanche Trace, right, you can get the quality of the home you can get out there is pretty significant. If you're coming here from one of those evil other states, if you have a lot of cash, you can get a beautiful home. So I told my dad that one time. He came out here and I said, "This place Comanche Trace, you can get yourself twice the home that you have for what, and just pay cash for it." He's like, so anyway, but it's beautiful out there. It really is. All right, we'll get back to both of you here in a second. Let me just talk about the city council meeting yesterday for a moment. Also, to Robbie Hurt, if you remember him, Robbie Hurt, who was the man accused of threatening the Kerrville City Council. He is going to be in court on July 9th at 8:30 in the morning in the 198th District Courtroom of Judge Pat McGuire. This has been long delayed. Mr. Hurt is accused of making terroristic threats against 4 of the 5 members of the city council. 2 years ago, at the end of 2022, he was arrested in December and charged with felony terroristic threats. This has been delayed, I think, in part because Mr. Hurt tried to represent himself, and then they had lawyers come in, and there's been some changes in the public defender's office, and so finally we were going to see him in court on July 9th. Also, we mentioned the Kerrville City Council meeting yesterday. It was budget season for everybody, so we're just talking about their budgets, and Kerrville is going through what is an extensive budget cost. There was a couple of things that are interesting that I learned yesterday, and I have to give props to Calvin Ricks, who's one of our readers, who pointed out. I don't know why I had this in my head that the homestead exemption. I just figured it was a blanket deal where everyone had to take a cut on homestead, and I was like, wow, this is really more insidious than I thought it was. It is a cut just aimed at the schools. So if you have a homestead exemption, you have $100,000 of exemption now, but the cut only goes to where they're going to reduce it. They reduced the ability for schools to claim the largest share of that pie, and in turn, the legislature is going to give the schools a one-time payment. I guess maybe they've spread it out over 2 from their reserve funds to cover this loss. But after that, no one really seems to know how it's going to work for the schools. And so already, I think you're seeing some potential impacts from this on the schools in here in the near term. The only good news is that valuations remain high, and that was sort of the theme on Monday's school board meeting and then on Tuesday's city council meeting. The other big thing that was kind of interesting, though, we were talking about this, and no one really said it, and I'm just going to say it kind of impolitely. The new stretchers, Charlie McIlvain, I don't know if you read the newsletter this morning. You didn't have Leslie open your email for you, so I don't know.
That's right.
Do you have any idea what a stretcher and an ambulance costs these days?
I wouldn't know how to guess on that.
Okay, just give me any kind of ballpark.
$40,000.
Oh, that's a good guess. $35,000. You won the Showcase Showdown. So, $35,000 is kind of where they're at right now with replacing these stretchers. And here's the reason why, right? Because think about, they provide lift assistance, right? So they have hydraulics and they have all sorts of technology attached to them. And I'm going to be honest, folks, because a lot of people are large these days, and you got to have, and I've said this before, I've known people who are paramedics who have hurt themselves trying to lift heavy people onto gurneys or stretchers or whatever you want to call them. And we see it every day. We see people who are large, and they're going to require some kind of medical assistance at some point. And our first responders need the best tools to help them get that care they need. And now it's gotten to be expensive. It's $35,000. Chief Eric Maloney said that one now will cost about $50,000. The takeaway I had too was yesterday that, you know, basically if you have these patrol units we see now of the police department and the sheriff's office for that matter are now about $100,000 each when they have to fully equip them. These are the Chevy Tahoes. And apparently certain models of those Tahoes are terrible. So I don't know what they're going to do, but $100,000 is sort of the baseline for all vehicles now. You know, before you might have had like a Chevy Chevette in the fleet. You know, that might have cost $1,000. Now you've got all these vehicles that are very, very expensive to have. I think the good news is that the city will come in at budget, and they will make it work. You know, what impresses me of the city, folks, is that the city has really talented folks when it comes to finance. So you lose Amy Dozier to K-Pub, but Julie Barron steps right in, and then you have Trina. I can't remember her last one off the top of my head, and I'm blanking on it. She's really smart too. And so you have these folks, and there's a lot of complexities to city finance that people don't realize. Part of the conversation we're having here about the Upper Guadalupe River Center is that the money that is going to build Granger MacDonald Park, which fronts the River Center, is coming from the Economic Improvement Corporation. And that money is dedicated money for from a half-cent sales tax, right? So for every half-cent of sales tax collected, or every dollar, there's a half-cent that goes to the EIC for investing in Kerrville's future. Now, here's the beauty of this: nobody's ever happy with anything anyone ever builds. Like, if we go back to what EIC's done before, Charlie, you've lived through this. River Trail, no, right? Yeah, they don't want the river trail, right? Were you here for that conversation?
I was, but look how much it's used and how many different, even organizations, and it has, you know, it's handicap accessible. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are that river trail has so much potential. It also had to be built to withstand potential floods.
Right, right.
So there are a lot of components, a lot of elements in putting the river trail together.
Right. There's a lot of elements to that too. And a lot of times we have people who say, no. We don't want that. We don't want any more stuff. We're starting to see that a little bit, which I always find amusing. You know, it's like, oh, we don't want that in our backyard. Really? Okay. So there's that. And but we have some. I feel pretty good about where our city, our school districts are going. The county is another story. We'll see how that goes. That's kind of a weird deal. Everyone kind of jumps up. The county is the most likely to have like cage fighting to get money. Like, all right, here's the deal. Or like one of those things where you have a big thing, you have all the money, you know, in the hopper where it blows up and everything. That's what it's like. You know what we could do? We could go to that what's that parachuting place down in San Antonio? You know what I'm talking about, where you can fly like iFly. Yeah. We could put in there. We could put $40 million in cash. We could throw all of them in there at the same time. All these elected officials, and they go at whoever gets the most money. Whoever you collect, and this is what you get to spend in 2025.
That's a great vision.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine that? Can you imagine Bob Reeves in there? Like, you know, he'd probably win it. He's probably very agile.
He's well qualified to be where he is.
Yeah, he is well qualified to do that. Larry's pretty nimble. He gets around a lot. So I mean, he probably you have no ringers, only electeds. So I would put heavy money on. And you know, here's the other thing too. You could bet on it. You could put like prop bets on it. Like, who's going to get the most money? Who's going to win this thing? You know, and that would be that could be even another fundraiser too. Totally illegal, but it would be fun. I would put money on Lucy Wilkie too, because she's kind of athletic, small. She could probably get all the money, and she'd be very happy with it too. All right. Also, today's Juneteenth, folks, and I wrote about Juneteenth a little bit today in the newsletter. I said, one of the things that concerns me is that we have people in this world right now that seem to want to ignore this holiday, and it's one of those things. It's kind of like it's the holiday. I think you look at the 4th of July, very important holiday, and then the Juneteenth's right there. Juneteenth is the remembrance of the fact that we didn't always encourage freedom in this country, and that freedom was really kind of one-sided. But I'm worried about it. I'm worried about the future of Juneteenth, and I'm just going to read this for a minute here. So bear with me for a second here. It's arguably one of our country's most important holidays because it genuinely marks the light of freedom for everyone. Oh, hello, daughter. Oh, here. You going to sit in for a second, or do you have to go? I sit in. Yeah, just sit in for a second. This is my child, by the way. Hi. That's Aaron, and that's Charlie. You've met Charlie before. Hi. You brought Echoes. Yes, I did. I was very pleased, by the way, that I saw your video with David Rogers that you actually used a microphone.
I know. It's a magical thing, isn't it?
It is a magical thing. Because I was worried. I was like, oh, Allison didn't shoot that. There's a microphone.
Well, that's what happens when Marcus Goodyear produces it and not Allison. Okay.
He demanded a microphone.
Yeah. And actually, I was the one who suggested the double microphone.
You put two of them on.
Uh-huh. Because we were up at an antenna and it was going to be really windy. So we had to make sure we get the clear-cut audio of our president, Mr. David Rogers. So,
Have you met Charlie before?
I don't think so.
Charlie McIlvain? Yeah. Allison works for the HE
Butt Foundation.
So, yeah. We had my grandson was in town. Grandsons were in town last week, and the youngest one was absolutely thrilled to hear that Allison worked at the Butt Foundation. So anyway,
yes.
Let me get through this real quick.
A little too much.
A little too much. He was twerking while saying,
"Yeah,
Butt Foundation." All right, here we go. Going back to Juneteenth, though. I'm worried about its inclusion in the years to come. Surrounding us, infiltrating us with venom is an increasing backlash to our nation's sometimes difficult journey or difficult story that we have. We see the attacks nearly every day from those on the fringes of American politics whose voices are increasingly louder and louder. In Kerr County, where slavery existed and some descendants still call home, the evidence of a two-system way of life for whites and blacks remains present, which is why protecting and enshrining the Doyle School Community Center and its surrounding neighborhoods is so vitally crucial to our story here. Freedom in Kerr County wasn't on an even playing field until the 1960s, when KISD was forced to integrate. They did it begrudgingly, folks. This was not an easy vote for them. Across the country, many communities are wrestling with the inequities of the past. As we've mentioned previously, there is a strong case for reparations against Texas school districts that knowingly denied equal spending for black students and ignored the Supreme Court after Brown versus Board of Education. And a key point of this, remember, folks, that in KISD, you can go back and look at the budgets going back to the through the 1960s and older. There was like black kids got this much money, white kids got this much money. Okay, yeah. And those people who lived through there, like Clifton Pfeiffer, they're still here, right?
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing, right? When they did this here in Kerrville, there was a furious backlash to the Supreme Court's decision on Brown versus Board of Education. The Kerrville Daily Times described black children as retarded and unfit to become part of the public schools in an integrated sense. That was one of the owners of the Daily Times. He ran for the school board and won, and helped successfully block implementation of desegregation in the 1950s. KISD was like, we got to do it. We got to do it. We know this is what it means, right? We have a school that we do not fund in Doyle, and we have a mandate from the Supreme Court. We might as well just put the kids together. It's going to actually save us money in the long run, and will equalize education. And people in this community said no at the ballot box. In Evanston, Illinois, the home of Northwestern University, the city decided to pay $25,000 to black families who faced discrimination between 1919 and 1969 through zoning laws and housing laws that aimed to harm those residents. The right-wing Judicial Watch sued the city, saying the city's plan was unconstitutional because it only applied to blacks. Only about 200 people were eligible for those payments. Judicial Watch said the scheme was an attempt to redistribute wealth This scheme unconstitutionally discriminates against anyone who does not identify as black or African American. This class action civil rights lawsuit will be a historic defense of our colorblind Constitution. Well, here's the problem. Tom Fenton who runs Judicial Watch is an idiot. And he is also really pumped up and weird looking. But he said that there were people out there like Frederick Douglass who said, no, the Constitution actually is not colorblind. It's purposely colorblind because they didn't want to talk about race. The reality is that the U.S. Constitution was a compromise document necessitated by the failure of the Articles of Confederation. For the founders, the best course of action was to ignore the politically sensitive topic of race by conveniently leaving it out of the Constitution. And that brings us back to the fragility of Juneteenth, with municipalities getting sued over paying back victims of rampant discrimination. What's to stop groups like Judicial Watch from attempting to roll back the holiday because it's inherently about the freedom of black people? Finally, a rational... I quote Frederick Douglass here in this. I'm not going to go into this, but he definitely had opinions about this in 1860. He wrote a whole thing about how the Constitution was not colorblind. That there are actually articles in there aimed at protecting slavery that were instituted as a compromise to the South. A rational student of American history would understand Douglass's comments, but we no longer live in rational times. We live in a time of fantasy and delusion where fairy tales become fact and the truth finds its way into the trash dumps of history. So there you go. That's my editorial for the day. Allison, why are you here though? That's the
well, besides the fact I needed to retrieve my sunglasses, and
it took you 3 days to get here.
Hey, I'm a busy girl.
Yeah.
I'm a busy girl. And then also I wanted to share with you our new issue of Echoes.
David Rogers seemed very proud of this edition.
This is a really special issue.
Did he have a teleprompter for that?
Well, like a makeshift teleprompter.
Oh, did he? He's very good at reading that stuff. So.
Yes. He's a really good speaker.
You met him, Charlie? David Rogers, the president of the H.E. Butt Foundation?
I have not.
Oh, okay. We gotta figure that out. So.
Work on that.
Yeah. I thought you knew everybody in this town.
Almost.
You probably know my boss, Marcus.
Yes,
Goodyear.
I do.
Yeah. So basically, if you know Marcus, you kind of know David Rogers by association because they work very closely together.
Together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this issue of Echoes is different than what we typically do. We sent out a community survey last fall that was sent to both Kerrville constituents and then also San Antonio, Austin, just kind of our entire Echoes subscription base. And we asked some questions about the community and what your thoughts and feelings about the community are, and also like the faith communities and everything. And then we came up with some really great stories to kind of coincide with what our readers and the people who responded to the survey had to say. So one of my favorite stories in there is Welcome to the Neighborhood, and we focus on have like a small round table group of people from Austin, and we talked to them about some of the issues that Austin faces, and it was such a great conversation to have, and also it was from like a different perspective because we typically focus on the stories that are centered in our campsite in the Frio River Canyon, and then also in San Antonio. So it was kind of refreshing to hear from people from Austin, like, these are some of the issues that we're dealing with and some of the common problems that we have. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty similar to what we're dealing with in Kerrville. So it just shows that we're all connected in some way.
I like to read this one part that David Rogers said brilliantly, I think.
You just really want to meet David Rogers, don't you?
He needs to be on the show. I don't know why he doesn't.
I'll talk to him about it.
I don't know why he hasn't been on the show already.
He's a busy guy.
Here's the relationship, by the way. You know how you would go to Leslie for technology issues? That's what David Rogers does to my daughter. If he has a technology issue, he goes to Allison. It's like you go to Leslie. Right, you still go to Leslie, right?
I do.
Yeah,
no
right.
doubt about it.
You have like
because she can get me squared away.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They said this community survey is pretty interesting. 44% of you said that mental health is a top need in your community.
Yep.
68% said supporting people on the margins was the top priority for your faith community. Mm-hmm. You were 45% less confident that your faith communities are doing their part. So that was interesting. Some interesting takeaways as well.
Yeah, another one of my favorite stories about that last statistic is Church Under the Bridge. And so we focus on an organization that's with Christ Church in Austin that is called Church Under the Bridge. And so they help and they served homeless people, and they have a church service.
It's unhoused people, Allison. Get it right.
Okay. Unhoused, lovely people who, and they have a church service, and they serve them food under, I think it's the 35 or I-35 freeway in Austin. In downtown Austin. So that one's a really great story. And then also Neighbors on the Margins. That's the one Marcus wrote.
Right.
Which is really interesting as well.
You also wrote a thing about St. Francis.
Yes. So we have in San Antonio, we have a wall kind of in our courtyard, and it has an attribution to St. Francis of Assisi. And we kind of have a little bit of a debunking about that particular quote, which is actually really interesting.
Yeah,
so
good story. These are free, available, by the way. We have some here at the Plow, right?
Yeah, I'll bring some more later, but we just have that one.
Right. They've been doing this for, and you can subscribe to this for free.
Yes. Just go to HEBFDN/echoes/subscribe, and then you can subscribe for free. Okay. They're really great stories.
Good stuff.
Highly recommend.
All right, now get out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Speaking of great issues, Charlie McIlvain, you've done a lot of work in this community. What is the best example of neighborliness that you could think of here in this community?
Man, there's probably a lot of examples there, Lewis. But I think that's part of the things that makes the quality of life so unique here in Kerrville.
Right.
Is not only the amenities we have, but the people that are here. When you look at our school superintendent and our president of the university and the chief executive officer at our hospital.
Right.
Those individuals could probably go anywhere in the world they want to go, or anywhere in the country they would like to go.
Especially that Corey Edmondson.
Well,
awesome.
Corey is who I was referring to on the CEO at the hospital. But they could go anywhere they choose, basically, and they've selected Kerrville. And I think the quality of life is one of the things that brings all these individuals together.
Right. And I think that there's a lot of people in this, what I find, and people that I'm friends with will say, oh, it's delightful here. I have a friend, she's always like, it's amazing how many things you have going on in that community. She subscribes to the newsletter. She doesn't even live here. She subscribes to the newsletter. And she's always amazed at how much stuff we have going on at any given time. So
Lewis, you've got to look at things like, for a community this size, how many communities this size have a 75-member symphony orchestra, a junior symphony orchestra?
Right. They don't even have that in San Antonio, I don't think, right? They don't have a symphony right now in San Antonio.
3 live performing arts facilities, 3 hospitals.
Right.
We've got more millionaires per capita between here and Fredericksburg than any other city in Texas.
Don't say that.
We've got a man that's walked on the moon.
I'm trying to get a grant. I don't need you to say that kind of stuff, right? All right. Okay. All right. You're done. Leslie said, by the way, that you were the complimentary part of your retirement package from the CVB. That she was here to help you. That was part of your retirement. That Leslie would help you forever.
And thank goodness she is.
Yeah. Right.
I still remember my first college class where computers were introduced. So
yeah.
I'm just right there in that generation where,
Me too.
we didn't all have a computer.
Right.
And
handwriting and papers.
Yeah. In fact, the first class I took was really frustrating. It was called Fortran with What For. It was a language class. And this was a Tuesday, Thursday night.
You took Fortran? How come you didn't go into the computer industry?
Well...
you took Fortran, right?
This was required in the business school at the time.
Yeah.
So on Thursday night, the professor give you a stack of cards about an inch thick.
Yeah.
And And then on Tuesday night, you turn the completed cards in. Well, the frustration there is we didn't even have a computer on campus. This professor was in the industry, and so he would take your cards with him and grade them, run them through his computer or the computer at his office. And on Thursday night, he'd give you a new assignment, new cards, and he'd give your last week's assignment back. It was a pass-fail situation. Of course, these cards were punch cards.
Right.
And so you get if everything went well, you got a pass, and if it didn't, you got a fail. But you had no idea which card was the bad card or which punch was the bad punch. Well, got through the class, but there were a lot of folks working together trying to figure that all out.
Right. I remember when computers showed up in my camp, my school, and they were like, and I also remember too, my dad was into printing and doing printing projects, and he bought a used CompuGraphic, it was like the desktop, it was like the early desktop printing thing, but the processing unit weighed about 2,000 pounds, and it was we had to have it moved over, and he had it and it worked for about, I don't know, a couple of years or so, and he would get, but it was the size of a refrigerator, the unit,
the whole wall of your home.
Oh yeah, and it was so heavy, and it was just full. It was amazing. I don't know if he ever disposed of that. I should ask him now. What happened to the CompuGraphic machine? So
may still be in the house.
Maybe. I don't think it is.
For decoration.
It could be. It had a huge keyboard too, and it would put out stuff like text in certain little strips, and you would kind of strip it together.
Yeah. Did it have dot matrix printer? Or?
No, it had it. It printed out like high quality, text. Oh yeah, that's why you got it, because it wasn't dot matrix. It was actually print. Erin Burrows is from Comanche Trace. She's been here for a couple of years now, and she's really loving it here. How's the golf course? Do you play golf?
I don't play golf. I've sold golf for many years.
You sold golf.
But you know what? I'm finally ready. I've worked at some of the top courses in the state of Texas over the years, and I've had access to some great golf schools and pros, but never had the desire, because when you work all the time, the last thing you want to do when you get off work
is play golf.
And practice.
Yeah.
But now that I'm at Comanche, I've just fallen in love with the people and the community, and of course we have one of the top courses. I mean, the conditions are pristine, so I'm ready to get out there now.
Here's the thing about golf, though, is that golf is that painful reminder that you're not really very good at anything, and that you're... I mean, it is. It's the perfect game for people. This is like, I haven't played golf regularly for a long time, but when I do play it, it's so exasperating to me. Why can I not hit this ball straight? And I know there's a way to fix it, and they get to do it and everything. But every once in a while, you'll lose a ball, or you can't find it, but then you'll just have a moment where you play really well and you hit the ball straight and you putt well. It's kind of a life lesson, and the next hole you'll have a complete disaster, and if you can accept that as part of the game, you'll have a good time.
Well, and I think too, it's about the people and just spending. For me, I'm an outdoors person, so for me, just wanting to be outside it's all about the folks that you're playing with. I think it's truly a state of mind. That's one reason why I got involved with the Guadalupe River Center. Because I've always been a runner. I've always spent a lot of time down at Town Lake when I lived in Austin for many years.
Yeah.
So all they had to do was say, hey, we're looking to build a town lake here in the city of Kerrville. And I was like, count me in.
Count you in.
Because I can appreciate the quality of life and what that can do to encourage people to get out. And whether it's playing golf, whether it's, running on the trail system, or getting out and doing, kayaking or fishing.
I like that Town Lake example, because I remember the first time I went to Austin, Austin has a very sort of Bay Area kind of feel to it outside of the humidity and heat, because there's all sorts of activity. And one thing that people don't realize, forget about, those places that, they're on the coast. So there's a lot of running and biking and just walking, enjoying that stuff. And we're seeing that on our own river trail here. Like, if I drive by the river trail, I go over the bridge every single day, and I can't tell you how many people are on that river trail at 8 o'clock in the morning, either riding bikes or walking, or already fishing, or already setting up for a day along the river. I mean, it is heavily used by our people, and that's just one segment. So we need to, and the biggest and best segment is really Nimitz Lake. And this is what the Upper Guadalupe or the Guadalupe River Center hopes to achieve, is this more complete complex, right, Charlie?
That's correct. Currently, Nimitz Lake is probably one of the most underutilized pieces of real estate in Kerr County. Yet it's an amenity that we just have not really taken advantage of.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's in the only time we really take advantage of, where you really see the potential of Nimitz Lake, which is, the dammed up part. This is a critically important part of our water piece, is the is the triathlon. The triathlon, the way they use it, is just awesome. So
that's true.
But the key to it all is really having access, because that's the reason why it's so underutilized.
Right.
It's really hard to get to it.
Yeah.
So we are super excited because
there's no easy way to get into that.
There is no easy way right now. Yeah. So with this project, it's going to allow the entire community, despite age and demographic, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a beautiful riverfront park, a gathering place with, boardwalks and accessible ramps, and allow people to get out there and go fishing and swimming and do their stand-up paddle boards or kayaking. Because right now, to get a kayak down there is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, my husband and my son, they tried to go fishing down there not too long ago, and they had a heck of a time.
It used to be
down there.
It used to be really hard when they had those geese that were down there that would attack you.
Well, there's a whole other aspect of that also, in that the community outreach opportunities are just numerous. You've got special activities for veterans, cancer survivors, sober living homes, physically disabled, special needs for adults as well as youth. So there are, more opportunities than really meet the eye when you're looking at that project.
There's a lot of opportunities there. It's incredible how many opportunities are out there, and I think we gotta take advantage of this as well. The campaign, though, right? Where's the campaign for this right now? Is that right?
That's correct. $395,000 for purchasing 1.6 acres of land adjacent to the Granger MacDonald Park itself.
That is so the Granger MacDonald Park, folks. This is you're not familiar with this whole process here. Granger MacDonald Park is the land that's directly adjacent to access to the river and to the lake. And then next to the park, or above the park, will be the River Center on its own land, but the two are kind of symbiotic. So about $2 million are going to go into this deal. But you guys have to raise how much money before September? Is that the plan?
Say again.
Well, how much money do you have to raise before September? Are you already there? Are you close?
Well, we're approaching it.
So we need $395,000.
Yeah.
And we're, as of yesterday's meeting, we're at 64% in just 3 weeks.
Wow.
So,
wow.
And that's with all of the
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So we're feeling really good. We still have a lot of work to do, but a lot of folks are really getting on board. They see the importance of this project and are getting behind it, and it's definitely starting to gain some momentum and critical mass.
That's great news. I mean, that really is. By the way, folks, I just want to. Someone was saying about the weather, and I just want to show you guys the radar. Here's the radar of the weather coming our way. This should get us at some point here later today. And they're saying an inch to inch and a half here for Kerr County. So there you go. How do people get involved with this River Center, deal? How do they make it work?
They can participate if they'd like to contribute. There's also website, which is Guadalupe.
Yep, GuadalupeRiverCenter.org.
Okay.
There is a donate now button. You can also learn more about the project. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook under the Guadalupe River Center.org or Guadalupe River Center on Facebook and Instagram. So we're doing daily posts there as well. So really trying to get out there and just share the good news about this lake land campaign.
I love it. There's so many things though that you guys can do with this to if you think about the opportunities that are out there, think about this in the long term, folks. This is where I've talked about a lot. You have an opportunity to, here's the thing: the river complex. We're building a park. that defies just being a park. We're building an area that a century from now, 100 years from now, will be a here's the website, by the way. A century from now that will be well used and robust. So if you can imagine for a second here, folks, your grandchildren or your grandchildren's children, your great-grandchildren who are living in Kerrville, there's maybe 75,000 people that live here at that point. They have access to a world-class park that ranges from Nimitz Lake all the way down to Flat Rock Park and Kerrville Shriner Park and all that. And it's all connected with fingers going everywhere. Even like eventually Uptown Creek towards the soccer complex and all those areas. And there's no one else we would be one of the best destinations in the state for recreation, for events.
Fishing by kayak, birding, boot camps, SUP yoga and triathlons,
right.
Activities adventure, day camps, family-oriented programs. So there are just opportunities that we haven't even thought of.
Right.
Well, and I think it's important too because we also want to be good stewards, and there's conservation is one of our legs of what the River Center is about.
Right.
It's not only about recreation, conservation, but it's also about education. So it's really multifaceted as far as it's not just a place for our community to go and hang out and have access to the river. It's about learning how to be good stewards in water conservation and learning how to, studying the different, I know Shriner University is really excited about getting more involved and doing some STEM programs and camps down there as well.
Right.
And if I can just say, going back to the Town Lake example, I think what was really powerful for me was when I was approached about this project, being someone who is an Austin girl at heart and lived there for many years as an adult and spent 3 to 5 days a week down there with my dogs running Town Lake and just spending time down there. And when they showed me the picture of Lady Bird when she was down there, when she first had the vision of what Town Lake could be, now granted it's a much bigger lake, but it looked very similar to Nimitz Lake without all the infrastructure and ramps and trails. So I really feel like that's a powerful image, because now fast forward 50 years, what has that done for Austin as far as bringing the community together and being kind of the hub and kind of something that people actually, when they think of downtown Austin, they think of the lake. And it's a shame because here we live in one of the best kept secrets in Texas with this beautiful underutilized lake, and no one even, hardly knows it's there. They know there's a body of water, but they don't even realize that's a lake they can use and get to. So I just think it could be super powerful to see that kind of combined with the trail system eventually.
I've always told this too, and here's the Californian in me coming out, a little bit. Sorry, folks, I'm just gonna tell you. When I got here, and I was here for 2 or 3 weeks by myself at the time, and had to go do laundry, and I thought, wow, there's a laundromat with a river view next to a lube and oil change place, and I'm like, how weird is that? I go, Texas, I guess, because that would never have happened, in certain parts. Oh, there's waterfront property. Boom. We're going to put
it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah,
it's going to be world class, And we have those elements, I like to hold it Billie Jean's, not because they sponsor the show or they sponsor the newsletter, but if you go out there and you want to enjoy the lake and the river, Billie Jean's got one of the best patios out there.
Oh, fabulous.
It's fabulous.
It's our favorite place to go.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, just a little shameless plug for Billie Jean's. The first time I brought my husband and my 14-year-old down to Kerrville, it was 2 years ago when I first took the job at Comanche. I was trying to sell them on Kerrville.
Yeah.
We took them to Billie Jean's.
Yeah.
And Connor had a piece of that. They not only had the best burger ever, but Connor had a piece of cheesecake. This is coming out of a 12-year-old's mouth. This cheesecake is magnificent. And to this day, when I talk about Kerrville, and how many great restaurants are there?
Yeah.
There's only one that has a good cheesecake.
Yeah.
I just thought that was
That is kind of funny.
But
a 12-year-old.
he loves it.
He's like, all right, we're going to go out and we're going to have cheesecake. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
It was funny. Like my grandsons were here last week, and they love it too. They know the river trail. They like all the playgrounds and stuff like that. And
Splash pad.
Yeah, they did the splash pad this time, but they finally realized they could use we have scooters for them, so they could able to use their scooters and things like that. So, I mean, but if you think about Billie Jean's, think about this project as, even bigger than that, and long term, and it's going to be pretty spectacular for sure.
Well, and if you think about it, if you're familiar with Kemah in Clear Lake, like we all kind of talk about, now granted this is 10, 15 years, but a lot of us are kind of long-term thinkers.
Yeah.
We're all kind of visionaries in the fact that things take time and we'll move slow. But can you imagine? I know we're working really hard right now to create a business, an alliance with all the business owners who have that waterfront property.
Right.
Because we really have big aspirations and visions to have more restaurants and a boardwalk connecting everything and making it one big hub that's going to attract people. Just another reason to come to Kerrville and stay in Kerrville.
Right.
So I just feel like there's just so much potential. It's really exciting.
Well, and we talked about this a little bit in the last couple of weeks. I was doing some research on the river on San Antonio's river walk, and you look at some of the projects that are going in on the river walk. $20 million here, or some of the renovations that are happening there, or just the vibe of the river walk, which was built. They saw that opportunity 100 years ago, just about almost now. 100 years ago, there was one guy that said, look, if we do this, not only will fix our flood control issues, but two, we're going to have a really cool space that people are going to want to come to San Antonio to see. And it worked.
Really and it took off in 1968 with the hemisphere.
Right. And that expanded it, right? Even more people, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so, I went I did the little boat ride again for the first time in a few years. And it's interesting, it's almost like the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland in some ways. But there's more real. There's all this development and projects. And there's life that's there that you might not always see. And it's totally unique in the United States, quite frankly. But the investment at the time was about $500,000. It's incredible, And we're essentially trying to do the same thing here. And some people get really mad about this. Like, I have one little quibble with the whole thing, but that's another story. But like what you were saying with Town Lake, the thing that's going to encourage is that it's going to help us, one, encourage a healthier lifestyle. Two, it's going to encourage more tourism. People want to stay here because one, it's beautiful. There's so many. I love looking at that river every time I drive on one of those bridges. I take a little peek down the thing. It's just, I've seen it now more than 500 times, I guess, but I'm never tired of it. So, is that you talk to people at Comanche Trace? Do they use the river trail? What is their?
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. And I'm gonna be really transparent here. That was a big draw for me about wanting to move to Kerrville when I took the job at Comanche, and because I commute from San Antonio.
Yeah.
That river trail. I'm used to living in Houston where we had Memorial Park. In Dallas we had White Rock Lake, and then in Austin we had Town Lake. Well, guess what? San Antonio doesn't have anything like that. So the fact that Kerrville has something like its trail system, miles and miles. I think 10 miles, Charlie?
12.
That is such a huge draw and the people are moving here, are younger, they're active. We're seeing that at the club.
Yeah.
Lots of younger families, a lot of empty nesters who's in late 50s. They're active. They want to get out. They want to move. So this is just going to continue to encourage people. It's good for real estate. It's good for commerce. It's good for everything.
Right.
But yes, to answer your question, that trail system and it's funny because a lot of folks said, a lot of folks did not want that at first, and I wasn't here for all that. But now that it's here, people can't imagine not having it in the city of Kerrville. So I think it says a lot.
You bet.
There's a level of vitriol.
Yeah.
With that came up, and but now look at it. Get over it. So.
I was going to say,
it's a gem.
It already attracts visitors.
100%.
We've seen a lot of visitors that come here just to walk the trail and enjoy the river.
Right. That's the beauty of the whole thing, is that the river trail is key. What part of this plan do you look forward to seeing built out, Charlie McIlvain?
That just one component of it. I don't know that I could pick one. I think it all is going to work very well together. We've said that this complex will be Kerrville's living room. And
Right.
it'll be a great gathering place for individuals and families and businesses and conferences to come in and meet and not only discuss business, but enjoy the river while they're taking
Right.
advantage of that ambiance. You know, with all the components we mentioned, with the disabled or special needs facilities that'll be in place, this will add to the value of that and the value of Kerrville.
Right.
You know, with birding opportunities and boot camps and family events and youth camps. There's just so many components that are built into this complex, and that I don't know that you could name one specific concept. I think the overall package will be so beneficial for our community. It'll certainly be another component to the quality of life
Right.
we all enjoy here in Kerrville.
Yeah, that is such a huge part of it as well.
And it's truly a legacy project. I mean,
Right.
this
It
is
is.
a
Oh,
legacy
absolutely.
project that is going to impact for all of our families for generations to come. And that's what excites me the most, is to think about, can we imagine, like, if Lady Bird could look back now and see what it is today, what she created with that, and we're going to be able to do the same
You know,
thing. Like, it's
talk
pretty
about
powerful.
underrated first ladies. Holy
Yeah.
smokes! I mean, if it wasn't for Lady Bird, we wouldn't have a Head Start.
And with
a lot
all
of
the younger
Yeah.
families
Yeah.
and kids, like, how cool that they're going to be able to say, I remember when that was just a lake and we couldn't even get to it.
Couldn't
how
even
many
do it.
people do we know that grew up here and never ever went to Nimitz Lake? They ended up going down to Hunt, and they were in New Braunfels
Or
and Grain,
Ingram,
Lake
or-
Travis,
yeah.
Horseshoe Bay, to get in the water. So how
Yep.
fun will it be to see these families be able to finally get their kiddos
That's
in
great
that water
too. And,
here in
and,
their
you know,
hometown?
The other beauty part to that is, you know, like so many kids everywhere, they're in high school and they can't wait to get out of Kerrville and go to other places.
Absolutely.
But when it's time for them to start their families, and
They're coming
they
back.
come
Come
right
back.
back here, you bet.
Right.
There are opportunities that we've got to take advantage of. In order
Absolutely.
to continue to attract those young families.
Oh, you sound like you're a guy from the Chamber of Commerce.
Golly, what a concept!
I never thought that before. I didn't realize you're a Chamber of Commerce guy. Let me throw this out to you real quick. This is another example of why I like this community here. And I support. Here's the thing, folks. I support a lot of things, but this is. You know, my son's in the Navy, so he'll be a veteran one day. You know, but on was June 21st? Is that Saturday or Friday? It's Friday, right? Friday. Yes, it's Friday the 21st over at the Hunt store. They're having a benefit and auction for Ken Exman, and I got some more details on that as well. But it's the benefit for him, and these are some of the details that are going to happen. It's Saturday or it's Friday from starting at 5 o'clock. That's when the live music begins. There's a silent auction at also as well. Have local artists, business goodies, and more. The live auction has some specialty items attached to it. So we'll have Sean Kendrick, Kaylee Stetler, and Braden Toomey will be playing over at the Hunt store to benefit that as well. We'll have more on that in the newsletter tomorrow. So there you go. I just covered up Charlie's head. I'm sorry, Charlie. Tell us about what's going on at Comanche Trace though these days. What's the latest?
Oh, goodness. What's going on at Comanche? Well, we just opened up our new $1 million fitness center.
Oh,
That's
really?
been a labor
$1
of love.
million fitness center?
We put $1 million. We doubled the size
How
of
many
the
pickle
footprint.
courts did you add?
I'm sorry?
How many pickleball courts did
We
you
have
add?
4 new permanent pickleball courts
Wow.
as well.
Do you have a pickleball stadium yet?
We do not, but that's on the wish list.
Yeah. I thought like going to Florida.
Fastest growing sport in America.
Yeah.
It's happening, Louis.
I know. That's when I go to Florida. I went to Florida. I went to St. Pete one time, and they have all those. They have one massive shuffleboard club, right? And guess who plays shuffleboard? Not old people, young people, because they do it like a party. Mm-hmm. And shuffleboard's hard in hell actually. If you really right, but shuffleboard was so big in the 20s and 30s. They have like this one place has a stadium for shuffleboard. There's like 5 courts, and it's a wood stadium, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, but pickleball's the same way now, right?
Yeah. Well, and down at our new tap house, we did about a $500,000 renovation and expansion down where the driving range is.
Yeah.
It's like a bar and grill with outdoor fire pits, and we do live music down there. We're hoping to add bocce ball down there as well.
Oh, that's Charlie
'cause
McIlvain's
another cool
game.
It's social. You don't have to take lessons and spend a lot of time. It's more come go down there and just enjoy the views and
roll the ball.
Yeah, so we're.
That sounds like a game, Charlie. Oh, you seem like a horseshoes kind of guy. Horseshoes doesn't even exist anymore. No one plays it anymore.
Yeah, bocce's kind of like the new bougie version of horseshoes. Maybe.
Yeah, right.
Seems like that's
right.
That's why we love the hill country, right?
I mean, Chamber is developing a pickleball tournament for this fall.
Awesome.
Oh, really?
You bet.
The
Also,
Kerrville Championships.
Absolutely.
All right.
The one other thing I wanted to mention, the government issue survey is in the marketplace right now. We're asking to get all the responses back by Friday, but these responses will be compiled by the Government Issues Committee, and they'll be able to go to work on issues impacting the business community here in Kerrville.
Right. So here you go, Charlie. I'm a member of the Chamber. Did you know that? I'm a member of the Chamber.
I did know that.
My membership is up.
Official Chamber visit, by the way.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They wanted me to do a ribbon cutting. I was like, I don't know that I need a ribbon cutting. But
that'd be a good idea.
Why
we
should
need to do that?
Tell me why.
Oh my God, that would be so fun. Let's do it.
Why should I continue my membership?
Well, for a lot of reasons. One, the networking opportunities are almost endless. Just this past 4 weeks, we've had a leadership summit that. Oh God, I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name that does all that encourages businesses to or people to pay off their debts early and save their money.
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey.
Oh, Dave Ramsey. He's awesome.
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
It's a Dave Ramsey project. It's been by podcast, but this has been free to Chamber members. Of course, we've got the Chamber Expo that will be August 2nd and 3rd. And this is an opportunity for businesses in Kerrville to have a booth for the weekend and meet with other businesses and with individuals to expose your business to the community.
Yeah.
We've got business after hours this Thursday evening at Texas Hill Country Bank.
Okay.
So you bet a lot of networking opportunities, educational seminars and events, ribbon cuttings for new businesses to expose those individuals.
I just don't want all those people with those red jackets on to be there. They bother me a little bit. They're like gangy people.
Oh no. In fact, this time of the year they're wearing red shirts during the summer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those jackets are probably a little hot.
They look like track and field starters. On your marks, get set, bang, go. One thing, there's some popular misconceptions about Comanche Trace though. Like you can go to the restaurant if you're just a regular person, right?
Yeah, that's the one area of the club that we did keep open to the public, only because we have we only have 500 members, so we're still we're still growing our membership, so we didn't have enough members to close the restaurant without doing a pretty significant food and beverage minimum for our members. So that is the one area that we are continuing to keep open to the public until we grow our membership a bit more. So we're probably about a year out from that.
Do you have to live in Comanche Trace to be a member?
No, that's a great question. Yeah. We actually have members from all over the United States. We
want to play golf, right?
San Antonio. Golf, you have to be a golf member to play golf at Comanche, but we do have you don't have to live in Comanche Trace to be a member because we have members all over.
Right.
Lots of non-resident members.
Charlie lives up in
What a great place to go to.
Yeah.
And Rhonda and I love to go have breakfast.
Oh,
there
yeah.
in the clubhouse, and you can see, of course, you can see deer all over the community, but it's just fun to watch them in their natural habitat. You see golfers, you see people walking on the trail out there.
Yep.
So, and plus the food is great.
Yeah, we just actually were really excited. We brought over Chef Jay Maney, who used to work with a bunch of us over at the Dominion. Our new owner, Mr. Held, he actually used to own the Dominion Golf Group for many years. And so we actually, a lot of us worked at the Dominion together. So we brought over Chef Jay, and he's really elevating just the quality of the food, the experience, and we're about to roll out several new menus as well.
Dominion,
so come see
is that
us.
the course next to La Cantera, or is it further up? Where is it
Dominion is actually, it's the gated community that's kind of right at Bernie stage. Like if you're going down I-10 towards La Cantera and the Rim, it's going to be on the left.
Okay.
It's a big, grand community.
Yes. Yeah, I felt bad for those people when they have the freeway closed. They can't get out.
Yeah.
Gosh, that freeway stuff's going crazy down there. How do you deal with that? You got to get out here early on Fridays or you'll get trapped.
I'm sorry?
The freeway situation in 1604.
Yeah, I'm kind of suffering through it right now.
Man.
But yeah, I'm just trying to alter my hours, leaving either early or staying late to offset it.
Good job. All right, everybody. Good job. Thanks. You guys made it. You made your first appearance on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
This is
anytime.
awesome. I can't believe that I didn't realize there was a live show the last couple
every
years. This
day.
is
We just
cool.
had our 700 show, by the way.
Oh, well, congratulations, and thanks for having us. And tell if y'all can go to GuadalupeRiverCenter.org, please stop by our website or check us out on social media to see what it's all about.
Here's the actual site.
Yeah.
There you go. Right.
Thanks, Lewis.
And if you want to go forward and you want to donate, just hit the button right here and just fill it out. There you go.
We sure appreciate everybody's support.
Yeah.
Certainly do.
It takes a village.
Yeah,
But we're
it
going to
does.
get there.
Yep.
All right, Charlie. Anything else? What did you learn today?
You know, Lewis, I was just going to tell you, we were talking about the quality of the people that come here, and we were talking about school superintendents and airport managers and university presidents. But I admire you. I think you have come in and filled a niche here in Kerrville that we did not have. And I've been impressed with the, 3-4 years you've been here in Kerrville, how well you've been accepted, even though you're from another state.
I'm from an evil state. Yeah, right. I'm from that. It's horrible.
I have nothing against Californians, but you've made an impact in this community, and you continue to do that, and I commend you for that.
Well, I think here's the thing that people are like. I'm a Californian, and I'm not afraid to mention, but I got Texas roots. My dad was born here. My grandfather was born here. Texas was always present in my life. The mystique of Texas was part of our growing up, and I feel at home here. This is one of those places where you feel, like you're kind of feeling this now too. Like, this feels right. This feels nice. This is the right place for us. And I love the symphony. I didn't think I would love the symphony. I love the symphony. So I like Shriner basketball. There's lots of things for me to go and do and to report on. And the politics here are absolutely bananas. So there's plenty of that too.
Keeps life
It's
exciting.
a full-time job.
That's right.
Shriner football.
Shriner football. I can't wait for
exciting.
that. So,
Yeah.
all right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us tomorrow on the show. I don't know. Leslie will be here. That's all that matters. As long as Leslie's here, it's all good. So anyway, all right. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow on the show. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have a productive week, Lewis.
Yes. Thanks, Lewis.
No holding back, no stepping stones, no broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe.